Hello, all you writers out there. It is time for our Friday podcast where we are going to tell you everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote a great book. This is a special Pride edition, and we are going to be talking about our book, Joyously Free: Stories and Tips to Live Your Truth as LGBTQ plus people, parents, and allies. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and I'm here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, my co-author on this phenomenal book. And we are here to talk about this and the importance of writing your story as an LGBTQ plus person. Joni, welcome.
Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. It's been a while, and
Yes.
everybody else, it's been a month, but we're excited for these monthly gatherings, more impactful and more powerful for you and for our world. So thank
Yes.
you, Elizabeth, for hosting these.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And this is such a joyous occasion because it's Pride Month. It should be an evergreen topic. And we are here with our book, Joyously Free, which we published 2 years ago, but it's still very, very relevant today. So, Joni, do you want to give a summary about this book and why it's so important?
Oh, absolutely. First off, it came about because of None Better, the bestseller of my memoir. And as I went on book tour, I was asked a zillion questions about me, my personal, when did I come out? How did I do it? What has happened with struggles and challenges and all those kind of things. And so it was like my guts just spilled out in collaborating with you on all of the answering all those questions for people. And in turn, that led me to think, and you agreed that, you know what, we need contributing writers in here because everybody's story is powerful. Everybody's
Yes.
story is powerful. So inside of Joyously Free, you're going to have Elizabeth's point of view on each of the chapters, my point of view and my stories and experiences, and 32 contributing writers with their unique perspective. And so we range from age Will, 17-year-old, transitioned at age 15 from she to him. And then we have up to 94 years old. I think that's what Doris is. I think she's 94, and her experiences of being married to a husband, raising kids and then grandkids, and then finding out that, this is really not her authentic self. And she met Kathy, fell in love with Kathy, and they got married, and they've been years into their marriage. And so the book is just thrilled with people sharing their experiences and their life, and they had never written before. So it's all raw and vulnerable of how they came out, who they came out to, why they came out, and the allies that have supported all of us on our journey. So it's
Yes.
not just queer people, it's allies, it's everybody. And if you can think about that as two folding hands, it's interconnected. We're not separate, we're interconnected. It's all about love.
Yes, beautifully said, Joni. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Well, it was so affirming for everyone to share their stories, for you and I to write the chapters and weave everybody's testimonies throughout.
Yes.
And that's the message for today on this podcast. It is to share the inspiration that everybody, especially queer people, should write their memoir, their life story, even if you don't publish it. It's so affirming to write your own story in your own words because the act of writing is an act of self-discovery, an act of
Yes.
celebration, an act of acknowledgement of who you are and getting to know yourself even better. And then when
Yes.
you share it with the world, you give people permission to come out of the shadows, out of the fear, into the light, into the joy, to live joyously free. That's why we have the
Yes.
title.
Yes.
Joni, can you talk about how your books, None Better, this book, Joyously Free, and also another book we did, Healing Religious Hurts, how those have enabled people to open up to you in ways they might never have to anyone in their life?
Absolutely. I think the healing process in all three books has been what has hit people the most. It's an emotional experience. In describing any of the three books, it's not about an articulation of words. It's what the feelings and the emotions are generated from the stories. So I believe stories are so important. So let me go back to Martha. And she was 84 years old, and I was doing a book event at a nursing facility, a care facility for the elderly. And she came out to me after the end of it, and she says, Joanie, I've never told this to anybody, but I'm a lesbian too. And she had her little walker. She did this little happy dance, and she turned around to the 50 people in the room and said, I'm a lesbian like Joanie. And she did this little
Oh,
dance with her walker. Your sister Catherine was present that day, and it was an eye-opening and a teary moment for her that she was finally, after 84 years, able to tell her truth, which was
amazing.
unbelievable. I mean, it's just still, it still hits me. And then I think of Mikey, who's also in the book, and that his partner was murdered 2 weeks before I met him. And that's another moving story of why was he murdered, and the pain and the agony that oftentimes comes with being an LGBTQ spectrum person, and that the stuff that we put up with, the words, the slander, the hate, the homophobia about us and who we are. And so we need to take that, those pains, those sufferings, those challenges, and how do we convert those to joyously free? That's the question. How do we remain joyful in the process of all that? And I think a lot of it is you have to let it go. You have to have a team. You have to have a community. You have to have a way to write it down, like you just said, to express your feelings. Hide, don't lie, but go ahead and put it in print. And then if you decide to go public with it, you go public with it. I know business owners that are afraid to come out as LGBTQ people. They're thinking they're going to lose their business. Well, actually, it's going to be the opposite. They're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they're going to have a big business because they are being authentic and true. Yes, they may lose some customers or some clients or whatever you want to call it, but in the long run, they're going to feel freedom. They're going to feel happier. They're going to be more joyous, and they're going to just let it out. And that's a role model example for all of us.
Yes, yes. So, Joni, what you said about more customers, well, what happens is more opportunities. So, I want you to share, and then I'm going to share about
Okay.
how your books and you being very visible have led to opportunities you never could have imagined, starting with your radio program and speaking events and all the things.
That's exactly what has happened. And I'm still sort of blowing myself away with that. And yes, we wrote, I like to say that because I wrote None Better. You helped edit it. And then together we wrote the next two books. But in that whole process, that led to certain people in serendipitous moments that they're unexplainable. And to me, that's a God thing. And so it was like, yes to a radio interview, yes to another radio interview, yes to an invite to have my own radio show. And I named it Joyously Free. I interview a new person every week for a 30-minute broadcast, and it's syndicated now in 4 areas. That blows me away. And that led to the audiobook of None Better. That led to the movie Wowzer that we just premiered here in Brookings. We had a packed house for it, and it will be at the Wild Rivers Film Festival in August. It's already been down in Los Angeles. We just got selected for another indie shorts film down in the Southern California area. And it's like, oh my gosh, being authentic, being true, and we all have our way to express that. You may not be a person that is publicly out there. Elizabeth is publicly out there in all of her works. And Catherine, your business, you are publicly out there doing your thing as allies, as advocates. And then I'm that way too. But maybe your way is you talk to people one on one. Maybe it's within your family. Maybe it's within your neighborhood that you're able to be free and joyous.
Beautiful, Joni. Beautiful. Well, the film, the radio program, all the events where you get to go speak. You were the speaker at the Lavender graduation at Southern Oregon University last year, and that enabled me to meet Sweets Underwood, who's the head of the Office of Belonging and Sexual Justice. Wait, Gender and Sexuality Justice. And then this year, I was invited to be the speaker at the Lavender graduation. And you and I had done a workshop about writing and meditation for the Queer Student Union, which was amazing earlier. That was last October. And so then I gave the speech on Friday night. The students loved it. I told them that being their queer identity is a superpower and I
Yes.
explained why. And you could hear a pin drop in that banquet hall. A pin drop. They were just like, "What?" And I showed them a quick meditation technique and I talked about the power of writing and it was just extraordinary. And then they gave me an award and the award is called the Beacon of Support Award. It's this wonderful
Ooh,
plaque that I was presented with.
congratulations.
Thank you. And it says, Elizabeth Ann Atkins, in recognition of your unwavering support, advocacy, partnership, and dedication to uplifting the LGBTQIA community at Southern Oregon University. And Catherine stood on the stage with Sweets, who was giving the cords, like their graduation cords around their
Yes.
neck, which is like it
Yes.
hangs. It's really cool. Anyway, they got that from Sweets, and then they got this book from Catherine. So every graduate got a copy of Joyously Free. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it was a
Yes.
gift from us. And we were just overjoyed to be participating. So the message to all of you is write your story and it will open doors of opportunity for you to be a beacon of support for people who need it. Whether you're LGBTQ plus or not, sharing your story, regardless of what it is, whether you overcame an illness and cured it, whether you succeeded against the odds of being born in poverty and becoming a millionaire philanthropist, whatever your story is, share it, write it. It'll benefit you and it'll benefit people you can't even imagine.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well said. And congratulations. I'm so excited for you. And I'm so
Thank you.
excited for all the students to receive the Joyously Free book because
Yeah.
books last forever.
Yes.
Books last forever. And maybe that will inspire them to write even more.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah, thanks, Joni. Um,
Yes.
so what words do you have? Because I know that when you're so out and about, you're at Pride festivals, the film festival, speaking events, radio. What do you tell people when they say, "Oh, I want to write my book, but I've never written a book before"? What's your advice to them, Joni?
My advice is to go for it. That's
Uh-huh.
number one, to
Yeah.
go for it, to journal and to get a hold of somebody, as in Elizabeth Ann Atkins is who I recommend because that's my experience as a book coach, but to form a relationship and a team with somebody that will help you to accomplish that because you cannot do it alone. You need somebody on the journey or somebody's on the journey with you to create your outline, to create your chapters, to deal with it and to sort it all out of what you really want to say, what you
Yeah.
really want to express. But you,
Hmm.
you need a person. So I'm always recommending you, Elizabeth, and Catherine, because that's what I'm familiar with. And you're filled with integrity. Both of you are filled with integrity. I've heard so many people that have had problems with authors or organizations and they've been ripped off or it's been not a good situation. And it's like, you know what? Find somebody with integrity. And that is twosisterswriting.com.
Oh, thank
So,
you,
and
Joni.
that's what I tell them, go for it, do it. Whether it takes you 1 month, 10 months, 10 years, just do it.
Hmm. I love that. I love that. So, as your book coach, you'd never written a book before. You'd lost Carol after a 40-year love affair and lifetime together. It was not long after that you and I met, and you decided to bring the dream that you and Carol had shared of writing a book into the world. And so you and I worked in my 6 months to best-selling book success program, and you wrote your book in 5 months. And you did it. You're a former physical education teacher and a former Catholic nun, and you wrote a phenomenal best-selling memoir, None Better, an amazing love story. And so
Thank
cool
you.
that it's by Joanie Lindenmeyer and Carol Tierheimer. Love that. Her
Yes.
name is on the cover as well.
Well,
And
and
you,
she helped me from heaven. She helped me. And I think
mm,
that's another part, to rely on the spirit, to rely on there's other sources that will give you your heart and your fingers tapping to express what you want to express.
yes, yes, I love that. I love that. And you had the courage. You'd never been that visible before or
Right.
vocal.
Right.
And you did it. And you're such a tremendous inspiration, Joni. And then we went on to write the two books together. And you're just an absolute angel. And the tools that you use are books that lead to
Mhm.
so many other things because now you're on the radio waves. Can you announce your radio program and where people can find it?
Absolutely. This is Joanie Lindenmeyer, Joyously Free, KCIW.org, 100.7 FM, Brookings, Oregon, syndicated to KSKQ.org in Medford and Ashland, and syndicated to KZZH.org in Humboldt County. Listen
Yeah.
in every week, and it will delight your heart.
That's beautiful, Joni. I'm so happy for you. And you, me, and Sweets Underwood got to do a radio interview last week when I was in Ashland, Oregon, which was outstanding. Can you talk about the importance of just having media that is affirming?
Yes, 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 yes. Our world is so high tech in the terms of phones and YouTubes and media. And so to go on live like you and Sweets and I did with Renee Mariano, KSKQ, and that is available for people to look at. If you want to go into kskq.org, look up living Life Matters with Renee Mariano to hear the interview. It's an hour-long interview with Elizabeth Sweets and myself. But the power of media is people can listen in and or watch, as in a podcast, as what you do here, at their time and their convenience. And so it doesn't have to be live. And you can re-listen to it over and over to gain a golden nugget that might mean something special to you. And it will encourage you to say, I want to use my voice a little bit better. And maybe your voice is not in a radio. Maybe your voice is in attending a pride. Maybe your voice is in contacting a government official about all the legislations going on that are downplaying LGBTQ rights. Maybe your voice is within a church. Maybe your voice is walking a trail and talking to somebody because you're wearing a pride flag. Maybe your voice is in remembrance of the people that have gone before us. And that's what I'm doing with my prop today. Christy died about 10 months ago, and it's Pride Month. And I just wanted to honor Christy today with this. I think of the other people that have died that I've known that have been queer, from Mark to Brad, and making quilts, all these stories that are within me. Everybody has these stories too. And if you're thinking, well, I'm not a queer person, but you're an ally. I just have very dear friends, Eric and Andrea. Thank you for moving out of your town in Tennessee because it was not diverse. And you said that you cannot live with people that are hateful and homophobic. You are moving August 1st to a new state, to a new area that is diverse. And you are the best allies. I thank you for doing that. That is huge.
Wow, that's incredible. Allies
Yeah.
are so very, very important. So, in 1909, when the NAACP was founded, there were
Mhm.
Jewish people and white people who helped found it because Black people needed white allies who had the power and privilege to help make a difference. And so it goes that way with any group that needs to be uplifted for freedoms and rights and progress. And so being an ally is imperative for anybody who finds it in their heart to see that they have privilege and power and that they can help others. And it can be something as simple as like when the mom who founded Free Mom Hugs,
Yes.
it's a lady whose child came out as queer and she struggled at first. And then she's like, oh, it's going to make me cry, like so many young people whose parents reject them because they're gay or LGBTQ plus, and they have no love. So she started this thing called Free Mom Hugs, and they just
Mhm.
go to events and give hugs to people. It can
Yep.
be that simple. You could volunteer. That's just so sad, Joni, because you know what? As much
What?
as we talk about joyously free, there's so much pain that people
Yep,
have, so much
yep,
sadness, grief, fear.
yep.
And so people like you, people like me, we literally are beacons of support.
Yes,
And
yes,
this book is full of guidance to find your power, find your peace, find that love and truth and courage and confidence to find your found family, your chosen
yep,
family, the people who
yep,
love you. So, Joni, during my speech, I talked about how you and Carol, back in the early 80s when it was dangerous to be out, there were no same-sex marriage, no freedoms, no laws. You created the first queer community in Brookings, Oregon. Can you talk about
yep.
that?
Oh my gosh. I remember the day so clearly. And it started with Carol was so good. We have property that's three-fourths of an acre and it's almost all grass. And she goes, Joni, it's taking you a whole weekend to mow the lawn. And this is back in the day where all you had was a push mower. She goes, we're going up to the Sears store right now and we're going to get a riding lawnmower. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all I can think about was the debt. Long story short, we meet Vicky Cooley at the Sears store. And we say to Vicky, we're new in town and da 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 da. And would love to have an Easter barbecue with a whole bunch of friends since we're new to town. We didn't know anybody. And Vicky says, okay, I'll invite a bunch of people. Well, 55 people showed up that were queer and one five. And we're like, oh my gosh. And our message was bring a dozen colored Easter eggs, wear an Easter bonnet, and have an Easter basket. And you've been to my house, Elizabeth. So can you imagine the entire street and our parking area that people were coming in with their beautiful Easter bonnets, their total gayness. They were just eclectic, carrying their baskets. And we had the best time for hours, just barbecuing and having a great time and there were just all sorts of us, those that were employed and unemployed, and we ranged from age, I think it was like 25 to 85, and it was
Wow.
just beautiful. And that was the very first gathering in Brookings. That led to once a month gatherings, that led to other things, and all because here we are as two former known nuns offering ourselves and our love and our home to say, let's celebrate together. And that's the key, is to celebrate together. But yeah, that
Mm.
was a great story. It's like, whoa, we didn't plan it
Oh.
that big, but it happened.
I love that, Joni. That is so
Yeah,
inspiring. And again, if someone had a gathering today that was the first in their town, that's huge. But to do it back then in the dangerous 1980s is even more remarkable because you
yeah.
truly created that found family, that chosen family for people that lasted for decades.
Right, right. I want to go back to you're talking about the past, and it's so important. And I want to give a shout out to Jack Cooper, Pain Before the Rainbow. He talks a ton about the pain that many of us experienced back in the 70s and 80s. And I just think that is a dynamite book. Everybody get that book, get that book. And then two other sources for books. All Stora, which is run by RuPaul. It's an online bookstore and all my books are in there, and it's for queer authors only. And so many of the queer community around the world, that's where they buy their books. They don't go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble. They go to the All Stora place. And the other one is qspirit.net. And now we're
Mhm.
talking LGBTQ Christian books. And of
Mm.
course, we received awards for that, Elizabeth, with
Mhm.
all three of our books. But that's another religion perspective and religious perspective and spiritual perspective of who we are as queer people. And
Mhm.
then the last thing I just wanted to show you, and I think you know about it, but in May, our pre-Pride, we did a historical perspective of
Oh,
the past of queer life beginning in the
wow.
1950s.
Oh,
And so
wow.
I was honored to be able to put together a panel. So we had panelists that were queer people between the ages of 40 and 50. We did it by decades, 40 and 50, 50 and 60, 60 and 70, 70 and 80, and 87. We topped off with Eve DeRusha, who also has written in Joyously Free. But
Mhm.
we went through and talked about what was going on in our world in the United States, in our world and in the United States from the past, and how we have lived through that and the pains that we had. And there were so many tears. There were so many tears. But again, it was an expression that we needed to share for that healing to find the joy. And I
Mm,
recommend every community to hold a panel and do something historical with that and talk to the people that have lived through it.
hmm. Is that presentation available online, Joni?
They're working on that right now. They're
Okay.
making sure the script is all accurate and good to go. And so the library hosted it along with Southern Oregon Coast Pride. So Kat Liddell from our local library was our interviewer. We had interviewed questions beforehand, and again, the room was packed with people. You could have
Mm,
heard a pin drop, but very,
I
very
love
powerful.
it.
So on our little graphic here, we started in the 1950s, and the gay rights movement emerged. And it was the lavender scare. So people go, where did that word lavender come from? Well, besides being pink and blue and making lavender, it was also hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people were being fired from their jobs in the United States because they came out, or they were secretly, but they were discovered as homosexual. And that was a mental illness at the time. And so people then were fired from their jobs for being homosexual. And that was called the lavender scare. So you just had the lavender graduation. That's where the word lavender came from. It was a lavender scare of people being scared they're going to lose their job because of who they are.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awful. I'm so glad things have changed, and I'm so glad there's progress and so many people working to maintain the progress and maintain the freedoms and maintain the rights. So thank you for being one of those warriors, Joni.
Oh, thank you. And thank you as allies and advocates for two sisters. You guys are phenomenal.
Thank
And
you.
I shouldn't say you guys, you and Catherine and your
Mhm.
team of people are phenomenal because you're all about diverse voices.
Yes.
And the more we use our voice, the better our world.
Yes, 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 absolutely. That includes yours, mine, Catherine's, and also Jack Cooper, our author that we published last Pride, last June. And we're so very, very proud of his book, Pain Before the Rainbow, because it gives you a glimpse into those days in the 70s when it was so difficult and dangerous. So please,
Mhm,
everybody,
mhm,
I can put the link here. Check out that book and all of our books.
mhm.
Jack Cooper, Pain Before the Rainbow. Powerful, powerful.
Mhm.
Well, Joni, any final words to people, especially to remind them that they should write their story, even if it's not published? The act of writing is such a powerful act of affirmation and
Yes.
self-discovery.
I think my final comment was, I didn't know that until I met you. I didn't know that writing would release so much from my inner soul and my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Been
Mm-hmm.
living our life, but the actual writing of it turned it into something else for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jesus, God has blessed me with what to do with that. And so
Mm,
I guess that's my final comment is trust in what Elizabeth and I are telling you today, to journal, to write it, to do something with it, to express, to heal, to affirm, and to let it all out. It will
yes.
change your life internally and or publicly. And so
Yes.
I don't even have words to say how much I am thankful and filled with gratitude for you and for Catherine for
Oh.
taking me under your wings and
Mm,
just showing me so much more in the written world. It's
mm.
and so
Thank you, Joni. We're so honored that you're one of our authors and you're such a superstar, light in the world, an actual beacon of support, beacon of hope. So thank you for being you and all that you do.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Mutuality here. So if you
I
were here,
love it.
maybe hug and swirl you around and maybe put the hat on you.
And for all of you writers out there, please know that there is the power of the pen, and the more you flex it, the more you empower yourself and others. And with our words, with our books, we can shine light into the shadows and give others permission to come out, whatever that means to you. Come out to be your best self, your most empowered self. Stop being a people pleaser. Stop being afraid. Speak up, and make a positive, powerful difference in the world. And one of the best ways you can do that is if you write a book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer. We go live now once a month here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel. We have done like 3 years of episodes, Joni, is that right? And
Can
we've
you believe
just
it?
talked about everything under the sun pertaining to writing, publishing, and promoting books. So please check out the long playlist and learn. Be inspired, take our guidance. I'm a publisher, book coach, and best-selling author myself, and Joni is an author of 3 books. And so you can learn from our different perspectives on all the angles that you'll need to know to arm you to become a best-selling author, making a, again, powerful, positive difference in the world. You can do it, and we're here to help. So please visit twosisterswriting.com. You can book a free discovery call with me to learn how I can be your book coach or publish your book. You can also connect with Joni at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, um, at Joanie Lindenmeyer. And so we today want to wish you a happy Pride, no matter when you're listening to this. And we also want you again to encourage you to write that book. Tell your story because your story matters. We look forward to seeing you next time. We wish you happy reading and happy writing.
Thank you, Elizabeth. You're the best. Bye, everybody. Write it out. Write it out. Do the 20-minute discovery call. It's